Happy New Year, my loves. I hope you ushered 2025 in well. Yeah, this video took forever to get around to. And we're basically going to be talking about substances and how it affects you spiritually. Obviously, if you're a religious person, this does also affect you. Um, so there are various substances that are on the market, right, that you can get. There's a growing, booming businesses where drugs are related and so forth. So we can't really say we know all the substances that are on the market that are being sold because there's always new ones being developed, right? And each one um, is considered less harmful than the last one to those who use them. So I'm gonna actually start with something that a lot of people tend to ask me. Um, Around certain substances. Like some people be like, when it comes to the burning bush and psychedelics, those are right? Those are okay. Because they use them in a lot of shaman healing things, and they also use them in a lot of spiritual practices, right? And so forth. They use dosages. It's so, you have to be really careful. I don't care even if this is something that you have to use for health reasons, and specifically pertaining to psychedelics and cannabis. You have to be really careful because, especially if you're someone who knows that you have an addictive personality of some sorts, you really have to be careful with the things that you think that you want to try out, or the things that you get exposed to, or the things that you actually just go ahead and try out. Um, And of course, particularly with these two, people will always list the benefits, and then the, I guess, the downside of them, no one will really list those things. They may list them, but on a very small front, like, oh, you might suffer psychosis, so forth and so on. Um, Firstly, anything that you're using, any substance, will alter your dream life. You'll find yourself not dreaming, or for long periods of time. But obviously, when a message has to get to you, it's going to get to you. However, you might feel like you just have a blocked dream life. Like when you sleep, you sleep. Especially for those who use cannabis before sleep, they would always say things like, I just don't dream, I don't know. And usually, the first thing that is suggested is to actually take a break, to try to get your dream life back. And then I think the same with psychedelics. I'm not sure. And then we get stronger, I guess, substances or other things that are now, not that these two have a good look or associated with positive things, no, but they are seen as better than the other, which would be like your white powder substances and so forth. And either way, they all alter you. Either way, they all can expose you to a side of yourself that you don't know, um, that you cannot control. Um, and they also can expose you to the best sides of yourself. There are people who found absolute, and again, I'm talking about cannabis and psychedelics, um, who have been able to heal a lot of their trauma using such substances and so forth. But like I said, it's really, you really need to do your research and really just pray about it, honestly. Just pray about it, because this is, like I said, there are benefits, but there are also challenges that come with it, and you need to learn how to deal. You also need to have some sort of discipline, which would be most people that take cannabis, whether it's even for health reasons, they dose. So they would take, you start microdosing, or you take certain dosages if you're using straight up THC oil. If you're someone who is smoking it, they'll tell you that they smoke maybe 2 blunts a day or 1 blunt a day, or so forth. Um, but the main goal at some point is to reach a state where you actually don't have to use any of these things, even for health purposes. The main goal is for it to eventually, assist you to the point where I suppose your illness or whatever it is that you're suffering from is sort of regulated, or healed, or much, much better than what it was before. But I just didn't, I don't like the nonchalantness these days that's associated with substances. Also, the lack of information that is behind it. Also, how people just sometimes just sort of make something look cool and not really explain things in depth. It's also very important when you know that certain people are using certain substances to ask them why. There's nothing wrong with asking why. If someone gets offended that you're asking them why, then that's a red flag on its own, because they sort of are doing something that they know might not be actually beneficial for them, and there might not really be a solid reason behind it. And in fact, it might just be something to escape. It's not even something that's assisting them, because a lot of people do sometimes also use psychedelics, and cannabis as a form of escape from reality, escape from emotional, I don't know, service also. Like when you just basically want to cut off from feeling, this is a great tool to some extent. Um, and it would be the same with alcohol as well. Alcohol alters your mood, it alters your thinking. It also can create anxiety after you've had maybe a big night of drinking, or even just a night of drinking. You didn't per se get drunk. So all these things you have to be careful of. Anything that you consume with your body, even food, is something that you need to be careful of. There was a time in my spiritual journey where I actually still do this though. I pray over water. I actually have a glass of water right now. So I just like hold it like this, and I would just pray over it. Like, God, please, like, protect this water, bless this water when it enters my body. May it revive me. May it open up, my headspace. May I think clearer. May it activate kindness in me. May it activate love. May it activate peace. May it activate forgiveness. And I really felt at times like that was actually something that was working. Like it was, especially in the beginning, I just really felt like, because I believed in it, that every drop, as I would close my eyes while I'm drinking my water, just be like every drop. I still believe it now. Um, but like sometimes, obviously, the intent is just like I'm not too in tune with the intent of it. So sometimes it's almost like, but it genuinely like works. So with anything, you sort of have to set that intention, low key, of like, I want this to do this to me. You know how they say like drinking is not the sin is in getting drunk. And so people then start being like, oh, as long as I'm tipsy, I'm avoiding being drunk. But it's more so of a thing. Even being drunk is not necessarily the sin. The sin is in how you act when you are drunk, because you're going to make a mockery of yourself. Like you could literally drink and go to sleep. Yes, you've sinned because you got drunk, essentially. But did you bother anyone? No. You went to bed. You were unproblematic. And those are like certain things, like make sure that whatever it is, it's treating you in a positive manner. Now when it comes to white powder and white substances, I'm not getting involved. uh there is no benefits that those things can ever give you, like in any shape or form, at all, like at all. I know that some people have been taking ashwagandha as a way to emotionally regulate themselves, but low-key ashwagandha, Loki does the same thing as cannabis, which is sort of like shuts you down emotionally, and blocks you off, because you don't really like, you just become meh. Like that's basically your reactions to a lot of things. It's not that you become stone cold. It's just like, and then sorry, and then you have to understand that when you have become almost closed off emotionally, that also has a lot of repercussions, because there's a backlog or a buildup of things that you have been going through, but you haven't really immersed yourself in those emotions, because you probably just pick up a blunt and go about your day, or you pick up some shrooms and go about your day. And that's very problematic if that's how you're treating it, if this is being used as an escape from reality in general. I know someone who used to use cannabis as a form of manifestation. Actually, they would take it and they would say, like, it puts me in such a calm state that I then am able to just meditate and manifest and help myself manifest the things that I want. Um, but yeah, I just felt like this video was so delayed, and it was a busy season. I thought I was going to release a video, and everything just got busy. I'm just so grateful that I also got to spend a lot of time with my family this season. As compared to last season, I feel like people were traveling and were everywhere, even within my family. So I'm just grateful for a lot of things, and I wanted to immerse myself in the moments. But if anybody has more questions on this, I would absolutely love to answer them. But because of the platform, also, it's just something that we can't dive too deep into. But yeah, I just wanted to raise that awareness as well, because when you go down the path of using a substance as your crutch, whether you're using it as a form to give you happiness or you're using it as a form to numb yourself, it can lead you down a very slippery slope. In the previous video, remember, we discussed drug muling or powder muling. And sometimes powder mulers start as powder addicts. Like, literally. They start as powder addicts. They cannot pay off their powder debt or their drug debt that they have. And then other means are found for them to pay off this debt. Becoming so reliant on a substance that you literally have to start robbing people or selling your own thing, selling your own cell phone. There was someone that I used to know a very long time ago who every weekend their phone would just miraculously go missing, and somehow, by some stroke of luck, a week later they would always find it. And that's when I started realizing that this person was on substances that were white substances, a white substance powder. And so when they couldn't pay, their phone was being used as a surety of payment. The life that that person just exposed themselves to went down a very criminal path. I am no longer friends with the person. We are not in contact at all. And it's not even because of the criminal path. It was just, some of us are very blessed because, God just be taking us out of situations. You just be like, you don't need to be around these group of people. You don't have to be around these, or so, or he gives us, wisdom and foresight, foreknowledge to see that, like, this person, unfortunately, no matter how much you may even expose them to help, they are beyond help. This is unfortunately just a karmic thing that has to happen to them, or karma just has to play out. And no matter how much you may try to help them escape that, it's just, unfortunately, this is how they have to learn their lesson. And that's why I'm saying, like, if you this year, I guess maybe the message that's sitting in my chest this evening as I stand outside, I'm literally just looking at the sunset. The sun is starting to set in East London. If you know that you low-key have an addiction to something, I don't want to say addiction because sometimes you really do, but you think it's mild or you think it's light. If you feel like you have an addiction to any substance of any sort, whether it's a substance that's considered good or a substance that's considered bad, even alcohol, do yourself that favor of reclaiming your power back, of taking your power back. Just go smooth off the substance. Just be like, you know what? I'm going to set a goal for myself where there's 3 months of going smooth off of alcohol. If you start having hectic urges of you can't even like go anywhere without like cracking open a can of something, then you already know that this has now taken over your life. This is consuming you. And in fact, it has consumed you to the point where you don't even see that anymore. So I really would urge, like, in 2025, this is the year to really, like, it's not only just let go and let God, but let go and let God in every way. Like, whatever you think, there's people who go to bed with Adcodol. They cannot sleep without taking Adcodol or Grandpa or Panado or whatever, any sort of paracetamol, because they say I sleep much better. And it could be that you've just been, having bad sleeping patterns all your life because you constantly are stressed. You are operating out of stress all these years. You don't even know what good sleep looks like, because you haven't regulated yourself to know it or to understand it or to immerse yourself in it. You're always using something to shut you down instead of just regulating yourself so that your body can normally just sleep and shut itself down. Doing meditations before bed also helps. Listening to frequency music, or meditation music. Like, there are so many ways to help you if you feel like you need help. But it starts with you having to first to admit to yourself that, yeah, things have gotten a bit far. Like, maybe I've taken things a bit far. And you won't get to where you need to be going if there is something that's holding you back, or that, and by holding back, if there is something that you are giving all your power to, consciously or unconsciously. So 2025, reclaim your life off of substances. Reclaim your power, reclaim your strength. Basically, that's the message. I feel like God is even like speaking to me, through me, to you. That's the message. Reclaim your life in every shape, way, or form. Like, if you are too much of a people pleaser, take your power back. You don't have to help everyone. You can't save everyone. You're not God. Help yourself. Save yourself. If you're constantly spending time with people and you never spend time with yourself, this year make it a point to fall in love with yourself and spend time with yourself. Get to learn yourself. What do you want to do in the next 5, 10 years? What are you looking forward to? What would you really like to achieve? What business would you like to start, whether small scale, big scale? This is the time, I believe, for just everyone to start. I don't want to say start getting their act together, but at least begin on that path of vibrating higher and what is it? Making sure that your vibrations are raised higher than before, like in the previous years. So yeah, that's all I've got to say, my loves. I'll be posting more. I'll be trying to post at least one video a month. That is what I can commit to right now. It's one video a month on the YouTube channel. Thank you so much for supporting, to all those who support. I know that my content is not that regular, but I genuinely try to just record myself when I feel like there is a message that I need to share. I don't like to force things. I don't like to force energy. That's just who I am. So if you're growing with me, we really are growing together. That's how I take it. And I don't have anyone outside of my mom and my immediate family that I can share my thoughts with. So I use social media right now as a way to get my thoughts out there and to also get the messages that get dropped in spirit to me out there, because I believe that I am supposed to be sharing them, not just keeping them to myself. I love you very, very much, all of you, and I truly do appreciate you. And I'm so grateful for sharing, for liking, for recommending me, even for my tarot services, for supporting me, pushing me. Some of you guys literally push me and be like, Auntie Tanda, you need to get on radio. Auntie Tanda, you need to do this. And I genuinely, I am so grateful, like from the depths of my heart, because you don't even know how sometimes that kindness, like, literally pushes you to be greater. Even that motivation, sometimes you're just on the brink of giving up and someone comes through and they're just like, Auntie Tano, you're just so amazing. This one time you once posted something and it really actually resonated with me recently and really helped me. Dipilangani, as much as some of you nani nipilangam, so I'm truly grateful. Thank you.